Hello and welcome back to the Abbey Medieval Festival vlog. This is my second year in a row of hitting up Abbey Festival since I was like a child. And I have some opinions, some hot takes, if you will. So if you haven't been to Abbey Festival and it is something you've been umming and ahhing about whether you should go, I am going to present you with some pros and cons from my personal experience with the Abbey Festival, and hopefully it helps you decide if it's worth your time. So without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, starting with the cons. All right, let's start with the price tag first because what even is that? I only bought a single day ticket last year, and that was for I think the Saturday, and it was around like $60 to $70, give or take all of the extra fees that they add on at the end and things like that. I wanted to get a weekend pass this year because of the high of good feelings that I had after attending last year. The weekend pass, if you miss out on the early bird pricing, which you probably will because it was insane trying to get tickets, it jumps from 95 to 110, I believe, per person for a weekend pass, plus all the extras you have to add on. If you want to see the jousting, if you can get tickets for that online before they sell out, then you also have to pay extra for the jousting. If you want to park, you have to pay for a parking pass individually for both days, and then all the extra fees that they add on for who knows what purpose. Now, I wouldn't have so much of an issue with that price marker if I felt like the value was met for how much I paid for. But personally, I was not thrilled when I came back this year on the first day and realized that they had changed like literally nothing. The layout was practically identical to last year. So it was all the same things that I had seen last year, like exactly the same, minus like maybe a few minor little differences. Pretty much all the same performances as well, like your main performances, all the same things that we saw last year, and all of the same little issues that I had last year that I even gave feedback for when their feedback forms came out. I made sure that I put those things in there because I was like, well, these are important things that should be addressed considering the size of the event and how much I'm paying to be there and, how much hype this event has. So I definitely did give feedback last year, and I will definitely be giving feedback again this year. Not that it really did anything last year at all, but anyways, I really don't understand the point of us asking for feedback and then not using it. But anyway, so all of those things considered, I was a little bit disappointed, to say the least, that like I had paid so much money to come back to the literal same things that I had experienced last year. Aside from the obvious pros, which I will get to after the cons list, but those things aside, it was a bit like upsetting because I was like, oh, they're not changing anything. They're not sprucing things up. Like, it was a bit like, oh. And while we're on this point of pricing, the parking passes, you had to pay for individual days for the parking passes. Even though you were buying a weekend pass, you had to buy a singular Saturday and a singular Sunday parking pass to allow you to be able to park in their parking areas. But when it came to actually parking, none of the staff, and there were a lot of them out there directing people and where to go and things like that, none of them stopped us to ask for our parking passes. They just let us drive straight in and park. And then no one scanned our parking pass on Saturday. No one asked for it. Nothing. And I was like, wow, what did I just pay for? Because essentially that didn't even secure me a spot if other people that didn't pay for them were parking there anyways. So I was like, why did I even buy this? So that just kind of felt like money grabs, more or less, which was kind of a bit disappointing as well. Seating. Now, I added this to my feedback last year to Abbey Festival because I was horrified, especially considering the weather conditions that were last year. It was raining on the weekend, and it was just a mud pile. Like, just mud everywhere. You could not sit on the ground even if you wanted to. Like, it was just slosh for so much of it, or like just soaked ground, So that was not great. And then when I came back this year, I was hoping that there would be more seating, and there was not. There was not more seating. And that's really disappointing. I was at least able to sit on the ground this time because it was good weather, so that was a bonus. But it would be nice if they accommodated for the size of the people, like the audience that they allow in. And it's like, if you can't actually accommodate for that, maybe don't have that many people come to your event. Maybe. The camera situation. Now, last year they added in to the rules that you could not bring a camera in with you if it was a like DSLR or anything like that. You could just bring in like smaller, like I guess like digicams and Polaroids and things like that. I think maybe mirrorless was on there at the time. I don't quite remember though. But that was a bit of an uproar, I know, amongst a lot of people, because what even is that? And I think they tried to pin it down to being because they have their own like photographers at the events, but I never saw them. There's definitely not enough of them to make up for the fact of like not allowing people to bring cameras in and promote your event, which I just think this whole situation is wild. But they've changed it again this year, and they literally took away a girl's Polaroid camera that was next to us in the queue because they haven't changed the website, the staff member said, but there's no cameras whatsoever except for phones. And I just think that's insane because the quality of phones, but you're allowed to like take photos and videos on them, but you're not allowed to do that on any other like camera devices. So essentially, you can't bring a Polaroid to make memories. You can't bring any like more professional cameras in and do little photo shoots at, an entirely medieval inspired event where there is beautiful backdrops and things like that to have cool photos in your outfits. But hey. So that's a really, really disappointing part, which I know a lot of people are very upset about, and rightfully so, because it doesn't make sense. Like, it's ridiculous. I'm really just not a fan of that decision whatsoever. Now, coming to the food situation. This gets me a little worked up, okay? Because last year, I had a hot chocolate from the coffee van tent, whatever you want to call it. And it was great hot chocolate, I don't drink like coffee. The only coffee I like is like the hazelnut flavored coffee that you can get from like the Asian supermarkets, and then you like mix it with milk, and it's great. It's delicious. Other than that, I do not touch coffee. I don't like it. I don't like the flavor. So it's great when hot chockies are an option, especially because it is cold. It is very cold at the festival, and especially those first few morning hours before it hits kind of midday, it's cold. You just want a little warm drink, warm your hand, warm your body, it's a vibe. We went back to this tent this year and went to order a hot chocolate. And we're told that they are not allowed to do hot chocolates because it is not historically accurate. You know what else isn't historically accurate? Serving an iced coffee in a plastic takeaway cup. That also isn't historically accurate, but they're allowed to do that. Yeah, so that threw me through a loop, and I was like really annoyed, I think is probably the best way to word it. Because of that was what they were told of why they couldn't have hot chocolates on their menu. Now, I do believe this is a similar reasoning of behind why they don't really cater for like dietary requirements or like allergies, that sort of thing, because of like the historical accuracy. And I do say that mockingly because I do think it is hilarious. Of where they decide to draw the line on what they are and aren't allowed at the festival. That same van that's not allowed to do hot chocolates, though, is like the only one that has like gluten-free slices and things like that. So we always run to that van as soon as we get there because they sell out so fast. Because what do you know? There's a lot of people with allergies and dietary requirements that attend Abbey Festival. So I think using it's not historically accurate or it's not period accurate is an absolute cop-out considering the things that they do allow in there. And, it's like, where do you draw the line at that point? We are living in a modern world with people with intolerances and allergies and things. And I think it's definitely nice to have like historically inspired foods and things like that for people to, aid in the immersion experience. But I think if you are going to allow some things in that are absolutely not historically accurate, it wouldn't hurt to use a bit of like practicality, I guess. There's a word I'm thinking of, and it's not coming to me right now, but essentially, just to be a bit more realistic with that sort of stuff. Okay, so moving on to the pros of Abbey Medieval Festival, starting with the immersion, because the immersion is definitely the biggest highlight of the event. The reason why most people go, they want to feel immersed into this point in like history, learning about it, experiencing it, smelling it, seeing it, like dressing as it, it's just that part of it, unbeatable. Like that is why we love a medieval festival, that's just, it's just perfect. The performances are also really cool to watch. A lot of them are very interesting and entertaining as well. So that is definitely something like that is great to experience at the festival. You can check out the timetables, see what you're sort of interested in seeing, whether it's like dances, fighting, the costume parade thing that they do, all of those sort of things. Also getting to catch up with your friends, dress up together, take photos, have fun. That obviously adds to the atmosphere and the vibes. And then also the education side of it is really interesting and exciting. It's just a fun way to learn visually because there's a lot of like little workshops, educational spiels going on. They teach you about chainmail. They will do live demos of like blacksmithing. You can pay to be involved in little workshops like tassel making, or they do like henna on you as well. Just so many different opportunities to like learn new things about cultures and points in history and stuff. And it's really great. I love that side of it. And I really love seeing like different parts of like history and culture that's also like connected to you individually and your heritage. So that's always a really fun experience too. The whole like medieval Ren Fair experience is something I feel like everyone should get to experience at least once. I definitely feel that after going a singular day and then going a weekend, it is more of a one-day experience to like, just really immerse yourself, enjoy it all. You can absolutely see everything. Like you can explore the whole area in a day easily. We lap it like multiple times, to be fair. And yeah, I think it is definitely better as a one-day experience. Some people might differ, and that's fine. But for me personally, I feel like one day is definitely enough to see everything, experience everything. Yeah, and it obviously comes with a slightly cheaper price tag as well. Not by much, but it's a little bit cheaper. And the final pro is kind of a mixed thing because it is also the only alternative to a American Ren Fair that we have in Queensland, or in like the Queensland Brisbane area. I think there's some more like medieval events down in like Sydney, New South Wales, Melbourne-ish area maybe. But for us up here, this is kind of the only thing we really have. There used to be History Alive as well, but now Abbey has like, I don't know if they always owned it, but they've definitely like taken it over. It used to be at Fort Lytton, but now it's at the Abbey Stowe property as well. So that also happens in the year as well. So being that's the only option for that sort of experience does kind of give it, I guess, a pro in its own way. But it is also a con because I definitely am of the opinion that this company is definitely exploiting and monopolizing on the fact that they are the only one doing this, and hence why they are charging so much but not actually amplifying or changing up the experience every year. It's almost like taking advantage of the fact that you're the only event doing this, so you can charge more and people will pay that because they can't go anywhere else for this experience. And it's making it not as accessible for everyone. It's definitely not affordable by any means. I'm kind of less and less inclined to go next year. I'd only be going one day on the Sunday if I do, but it's highly unlikely at this point just because I don't like the pricing that they are charging for this experience and then not trying to improve it. It's really disappointing. But yeah, it does make it unfortunate that it is the only place you can go to for that immersive medieval experience because we don't have any Ren fairs yet. But there is a Ren Fair coming to Melbourne next year, and I think it's called the Melbourne Ren Fair or something. There's not a super lot of information out there yet about it, but I think there's more updates coming over the next few months. So I'm really excited to see what happens with that, and hopefully they will bring it to Queensland and we'll have more fantasy medieval inspired events, because that is what I love. Obviously, Abbey Festival is more historically inclined than fantasy, but it's the only place for us to be able to also wear those medieval fantasy inspired outfits as well. So, you know, it would be really nice to have a more fantasy medieval event that we can attend. So that is enough yapping from me, and it is time to get into the vlog.
Despite already having a very large energy drink and a coffee this morning.
Well, what about the third coffee? Technically second.
As you can tell, she takes this very seriously. She's now going to spit it into her mouth.
Why would you say that?
I don't know where they are. Just sitting here.
Slay!
That's amazing, thank you.
Unmatched pairs. The person with the shorter weapon tends to really want to close their distance. As you can see,
I'm like just laughing
Oh my god. This is so beautiful. I love this guy.
Okay, amazing. I don't really. Oh my god, a big one. Day 2, let's go!
Oh no, I'm wearing my sunglasses.
It's so cold.
Yes.
Yeah. What's not? It's so nice, aren't they? Ta-da! Round 2.
Gypsy cobs usually grow around this size with your little tall.
It's not always the worst angle. Worst angle. Good angle.
Please work. So I'll put
Look what we found!
Hello.
And Zach's also filming his own vlog as well.
Yeah, I
so
put this in the vlog. I just stopped recording for a moment. So I'm gonna put this in the vlog. There you go. Yep, there you go.
and Vlog crossover?
You have love crossover. Love crossover.
And that's my nana.
Alright. That's so cool. I love it. Oh my god. So pretty. So whimsical. I love. Beautiful. Yay! Wow! Nuts!